Get your YE ticket. Get your YE ticket to ride.
This is your entertainment ticket. Latest and greatest movie reviews and interviews. This is your entertainment ticket. YEticket.com. Yeah.
Hey, this is Al McGhee with your entertainment ticket at www.yeticket.com. I'm here with Danforth Prince with Blood Moon Productions. And we're here to talk about some famous people, in fact, some people I really like, the Gabor sisters and mother, and Linda Lovelace. Hey, Dan, welcome.
Al, it's nice to be here. Nice to be in Florida. This weather, I'm not used to it.
Oh, you're not? You're from New York, right?
Oh, yeah. I have to slow down my rhythms and sort of calm down a bit to be in Florida.
Well, here, you down here in South Florida with the Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival to talk about a couple of your publications, one about Linda Lovelace and the other about the Gabor family.
It's an accident of our editorial calendar that we happen to come out with two books, comprehensive biographies of those glamorous Gabors, bombshells from Budapest, and a biography of Linda Lovelace, the porn star, showing the saga she went through in changing censorship and obscenity trials in America. And it is very odd that these books have been clustered into one book tour. So psychically, I am the man who has accompanied both Zsa and Linda Lovelace on the same promotional tour through Florida. I'm sure they were very demanding in their real life, and psychically I'm having a lot of fun with this. It's fun. Their coupling in one tour is a complete accident. There is nothing intended in any way by their juxtaposition one with another on this tour.
You know, I'm not very familiar with the Gabors, except for, what I saw on TV and in the movies. But I didn't realize that early in the 20th century that they were very, very popular with world leaders.
Well, no one has ever published before a comprehensive overview of this amazing family. A mother who whipped her children into socially acceptable patterns of finding wealthy husbands, socially acceptable husbands, that kind of thing. Jolie Gabor was a wannabe actress who transferred her acting ambitions onto three gorgeous, beautiful, charming, smart daughters. World War II certainly changed her plans quite a lot, and we talk about this book as an experience in displacement, diaspora, finding a new role to play, finding a new voice from the old world to the new. We focus this book on how, accurately, how they transferred the glittering social protocols of the Habsburgs to a new world and Hollywood.
Wow, that's really fascinating.
Well, I think it's fascinating. I mean, it really, the Gabors' lives is really an overview of the politics surrounding the outbreak of World War II, their abandonment of their persecution in the old world, and their arrival in Los Angeles and New York, where they were celebrated as artists in an environment where many of the displaced Jews of Europe had congregated, New York and Los Angeles. A fertile, creative, pot-boiling venue it was, and Zsa landed smack in the middle of it and thrived. Fascinating story about how you are plunked into a new environment by forces beyond your control, and you sink or you swim, and the Gabors, with charm and goulash and grit and borrowed gowns and a few borrowed diamonds, survived and triumphed as, today, cult role models in Hollywood.
Well, today, I'm sure people probably compare them to the Kardashians, haven't they?
Well, I've been asked that a lot, and with all respect to the Kardashians' lives were not nearly as interesting as the Gabors. The Gabors hung out, Zsa in particular, with world leaders and people a lot more interesting than the Kardashians.
Right.
I know I'm supposed to respond to that comparison, but I never quite got it. I'm not sure I ever really got the Kardashians, actually.
Neither have I. But they did become famous by hanging out with world leaders, not so much with popular people, and then they got into the entertainment world.
Well, Zsa is probably the best example of all this. Zsa was married at the age of 16, I think.
16 years old?
Yeah. It was a different time. Her mother was very into making good marriages for her fine daughters. an opportunity came up for her to marry the second in command to the ruling dictator of Turkey at the time. Kemal Atatürk was the dictator. Zsa Zsa's first husband was his propaganda minister, Burhan Belge, and she married him. He wanted probably a trophy wife. The policies of Kemal Atatürk at the time were to modernize Turkey, and it was good policy, I believe, to have a blonde, beautiful Austrian Jewess as the wife of a Muslim leader. It showed the cosmopolitan nature of the new Turkey at the time. Zsa Zsa found herself the bride of this Burhan Belge, attending diplomatic receptions with the world leaders of the time. She later said that the lessons she learned in intrigue and in politics and in diplomacy, she really learned at the knee, or in this case, at the bedside. She had an affair.
Especially at 16.
At a trophy wife, beautiful woman she was indeed at 16, beautifully dressed. That she learned it in the court of not the Turkish Pasha, but the Turkish survivor of the Ottomans. I found it very interesting that when Zsa Zsa then went to America, everyone wanted to meet her because of her familiarity with these world leaders. Everyone was trying to figure out how to be on the wake of World War II, and Zsa Zsa had indeed met, let's name some, Anthony Eden, who later became Prime Minister of the UK, 55 to 57, directed the Suez Crisis. She had an affair with him one afternoon during a diplomatic mission. She... her experience, her contacts with Kemal Atatürk were very useful when she met JFK. We all know how important Turkey is as a political player within that region of the world. It controls the Dardanelles, Russia.
And it's still an ally today.
A firm ally of the Turkey we admire and respect and love. Yes, indeed. Famous, fabulous country Turkey is. Zsa Zsa found it not to her liking after a while. There were some allegations that she may have politically betrayed her husband by spilling some secrets from his world to his competitor Kemal Atatürk. A couple of people were beheaded by forces associated with Atatürk, probably because of secrets that Zsa Zsa had spilled. Zsa Zsa found it uncomfortable to remain in Turkey and abandoned her husband just on the eve of World War II, got the hell out of Turkey, made a new life in America, divorced him in America, and carried those incredible experiences to new life in America.
Wow, that's a very fascinating story. She also had a fascinating life. Now let's talk a little about Linda Lovelace.
Linda.
The lady that I know about fellatio, or as we can say, giving a little bit of head to men.
Yes, that. Well, no one has ever published a comprehensive biography either of Linda Lovelace or of the circumstances surrounding her rise to fame. She was an unlikely candidate for celebrity. I don't think she even knew what hit her. She made that.
She sure didn't.
She didn't at all. And I think that's the irony of fame in America. So Blood Moon, my company, has been on has released this comprehensive 680-page biography of Linda, part of which expresses the unlikely ironies of what celebrity in America consists of. An unlikely candidate for fame who was jettisoned into the spotlight overnight let me go back. With the understanding that Linda had been a player on the fetish markets of South Florida in particular. Interesting, I'm in Florida now. A lot of people knew her down here. Goodness, I hope I'm saying the right things. But with the understanding that Linda had been a player on the fetish markets of South Florida, experimenting in finding a sexual niche wherein she could thrive or be known for or command higher prices for her services, the association of fellatio with Linda was something that came almost by accident. Chuck Trainer, her husband, had been training her to suppress her gag reflex. She made some stupid movie called Deep Throat for no
Stupid
money.
Movie?
Stupid, dumb movie made as an afterthought on a bad Saturday night.
I paid money to see that movie, and I said, where's my next wife?
And indeed, as you say, Linda introduced fellatio to a whole generation of nice girls who otherwise wouldn't have considered it. And I ran around my gym in New York City asking when people first remember having heard of Linda Lovelace. Men over 40 remembered seeing Deep Throat with the same clarity that they remember the assassination of JFK. I asked some women, too, and one woman got very offended with me because she'd never heard of the movie, but she knew the term deep throating and thought I was asking her about it. She got very huffy. I had to spend some time explaining what I meant. But in the aftermath of this movie that everyone went to see, Jacqueline Kennedy, Lee Radziwill, Truman Capote, Gore Vidal, dozens of other celebrities, all the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., everybody made it a badge of honor to either receive a blowjob from Linda or brag about having received one, or to have publicly been seen in a theater where this movie was being shown.
Yeah.
Her career occurred during that funny, strange interim period between the acceptance of pornography as an entertainment form in America, just before it got out of the movie theaters and went digital, during that brief interface. She made the movie. It became celebrated. The term deep throat was adopted by, in the aftermath of the Richard Nixon Watergate scandal, as the code name for the figure underneath the garage telling secrets, blah, blah. My point is that Deep Throat, which began as a cheap, underfunded porno movie financed by the mob, became so widespread a term in America that it was even associated with the Watergate scandal, and railroaded as she was into fame. Her fame lay in more than just being the sexual queen of America for a brief period. She became a cause célèbre of the feminists who...
Yeah, but she did not enjoy that fame.
Well, her life ended tragically. She handled the fame bizarrely. I mean, people say that she should have died a multimillionaire from endorsements.
She did not, though.
She died in poverty, and she screwed up every single financial deal ever offered to her, almost perversely, almost confusingly, not quite knowing how to play it, ridden with guilt from a Catholic girl's childhood into living in poverty, feeding her family ketchup sandwiches, and turning down $1 million deal to reappear in porno after another. The book reveals how she could probably have endorsed some products and remained relatively chaste after that. The idea was Linda Lovelace chocolates, bite on one and it squirts in your mouth. Another was to endorse any number of products ranging from game boards to movies of other kinds. I think she was completely traumatized by her life in porn. We market the book to some degree as a how-to guide to parents about how not to treat your daughters, how not to treat your children. That's gotten some rubber reaches the road traction.